Great Britain, Germany, Holland, Sweden, Denmark, America. Put those countries together and you've got war on your hands. Not an actual war. The Scandinavians aren't like that. But it's poker war, with an armoury of chips and a battlefield of bays. Great Britain currently leading the charge, and Germany are losing. I'm saying nothing. It's round 2 of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. Playing tonight for Denmark, it's Tuna Seidelin.
Tuna is playing this heat, and I'm really confident in him. The best thing about it is that there's not that many people that know how well he actually plays. I would have him as the favorite in this heat, so I'm very confident in this heat.
Representing Germany, Philipp Marmerstein.
I chose Philipp Marmerstein from Germany for the second heat because now we urgently need points after the 1 point from heat 1.
For Sweden, Johan Storakers.
I selected Johan Storakers to play today basically because he wanted to play in this heat. He's by far the most experienced player in our team.
Playing for Holland, Thierry van der Berg.
Thierry van der Berg, he's a new upcoming player for the Netherlands, doing very well lately and really playing well basically. So I think he can deal with this lot he's going to play with now. I wish him all the best, but he's going to perform, I'm sure about that. Thanks.
Representing Great Britain, John Houston.
We'll put John in because he's got a great record in these six-handed tables, you know. He's played lots of them, and it's his strong point. He also won a tournament last week, a ranking event. Go on, Johnny, baby. If we win this one, the rest of them might as well go home, especially the Dutch.
For the USA, it's Phil Lock.
I just picked Phil Lock for the American team for round 2 selection. Phil's not only really well rested, but this is a really tough round. There's a lot of really strong players, no internet qualifiers. I got a feeling we need to put our anchor in there to bring home the cheese. Louise, go Phil.
Entering the second heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. Looking at the leaderboard, Great Britain won the first heat with the most points, so they're at the top, and Germany languishing at the bottom. And I'm languishing in the commentary box with the lovely Barney Boatman.
You are too kind, Vicky.
There are 6 heats before the final, and every member of every team will play once, trying to accumulate those vital points, which are converted into chips for the final table. Every player started tonight with $5,000 in chips. The yellow chips are 25, green 100, and blue 500. That means there's $30,000 on the table in total, and whoever gets them all will bag a delightful 16 points for their home country. It's a very nice flop for Houston. Flush draw, straight draw. I'm sure he will raise any bet that the Dane wants to make.
That's right. I mean, Seidelin not to know how much Houston is connected with this.
Well, he's just called. He must think his hand is so strong he doesn't want to scare the man away. I myself might have raised, but I haven't been selected for the team, Barney.
Yeah, it looked like a situation to raise, but Seidelin really doesn't know where he is. It kind of looks like a draw, I guess, when somebody calls you in this situation. But it's a strong play to follow through. And having just called on the flop, a call on the turn now looks more likely for Houston because with a card to come, his draw isn't so strong. But there it is.
Well, what a horrible card for Tuna Seidelin. He's made 2 pair, but it's brought the flush for Houston. That calling has paid off.
The only thing that might help Seidelin here is that it might look to him like he's being called with a draw, but no.
Cool.
Well,
Just calling again. Now, I don't quite get Houston's play here. He's called to hit, but when he's hit, he doesn't raise.
no, I guess he figured that he was only going to get called by a bigger flush if he raised. But that's quite surprising, really, Vicky.
Yeah, there were only 2 hands that could beat John Houston there.
It's not like he had a tiny flush.
No, I mean, I think that might be a situation where maybe knowing that the team is watching in the green room slowed him down.
Yeah, it's a great honour to be picked for the British team. I don't feel it puts a lot of sort of pressure on me. It is a team game and there's a lot of morale and support amongst the British players, so it kind of works well, really. These kind of tournaments suit me. One of the reasons Dave picked me is because I've got about a 7 or 8 out of 8 first round wins in short-handed televised events like this, so hopefully I can do something today.
Welcome back to the second heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. Blinds 75, 150. It's the second blind level. We didn't actually have that much action in the first level. Only Tuna Seidelin of Denmark losing a big pot to get very low on chips.
We've seen Seidelin raise on the button with all sorts of hands, and this is a big hand for him to find on the button. And they won't necessarily put him on anything nearly as big.
Seidelin has moved all in. He got low on chips in that hand against John Houston. They are now all in the pot, and behind him, Philip Marmerstein of Germany has found 2 queens. We could be looking at our first exit.
Well, that's very unfortunate for Seidelin, although of course he has 3 aces to hit. Marmerstein a big favourite here.
That was the best time.
And Marmerstein gracefully laughing in the face of his opponent. This is terrible for Seidelin.
Flop comes 5, 8, 10.
He has hit the 10, so now a 10 or an ace would keep him in the tournament. The Danish captain Theo Jørgensen will be praying for one of those cards to come down.
Well, he's got the hearts now as well.
14 cards to hit for Seidelin.
I'll be your backup if it comes.
And that's one of them.
And he survives.
Don't worry.
What relief for Team Denmark.
Yeah, and Seidelin had got very, very low.
Oh, 1 ace was enough.
I started out in 2002 when I was in high school in Sweden. They're gambling people, so they taught me poker. And then when I got home, I started on the internet.
How do you play this game? Here's Barney.
Each player receives 2 cards face down from the dealer. The 2 players to the immediate left of the dealer post 2 compulsory bets, which are known as the blinds. Play then proceeds in a clockwise direction, with each player having to make a betting decision. They can call, match the current bet, or raise, put more money into the pot, or they can fold, throw their cards away. Once this round of betting is over, the dealer reveals the flop, 3 community cards dealt in the middle of the table. More betting follows. Then comes a 4th card, the turn card, and a 5th card, known as the river. Players must make the best 5-card poker hand using the 7 cards available. Once the betting is over, the players reveal their cards, and the player with the best hand wins the pot.
We're actually some way into this Poker Nations Cup. 35 hands have been played already, but mostly it's raise and pass, raise and pass. All still feeling their way, apart from Tuna Seidelin, who's been on the roller coaster. The others still biding their time.
Pass. This is probably the sickest raise of my life, considering that I'm doing it against Tune, who is proved to be able to do the magic on people. But I'm doing it anyways.
Phil Luck being perfectly honest and
So
straightforward
I'm
here.
gonna
He
raise
says it's a
this
sick
much
raise, and with 9-2 it is.
I'm going to make exactly, there's 1, 2, 3. So I'll make it 325 more. 325. Out of position against the genius.
But actually, looking at the hand he's up against, Lark's in great shape.
He is. Not to know it. Do you call with position with this kind of hand, Vicky? If you do, you better hope you don't hit a couple of deuces.
I'm out of position. It's no fun.
Well, look at this.
There's one of them.
They have both made a pair. Now I wonder about that speech Lark made.
It's 575.
You know, he did make a big song and dance about how he shouldn't be raising.
Well, if Seidlin thinks he's up against a couple of big cards, he might feel like making a play here with his bottom pair. But, you know, you can't really call that exactly hitting the flop big time.
I don't know, you start with 2-5, what flop do you want to hit? He's made a pair.
It's going to cost him a decent proportion of his stack to find out.
Cool.
Well, he wants Lack to slow down here, and Lack may well do so. He doesn't know what good shape he's in. But now Lack's picked up the flush draw as well.
Check. Check.
And of course, Seidlin, even though he won that pot against Marmerstein, is still the shortest stack on the table. Flush for Lark.
Backdoor flush. He could even get a call here if he makes the right size bet.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is Seidlin's only got 2,400 chips. He can't quite afford... I think if he had a few more chips, he would have called him there.
Yeah, with the right size bet, he might have got a little call, but Seidlin didn't really have very much of that. Worked out quite nicely for Lark.
Yeah, former winner of the William Hill Grand Prix. Phil Lark now playing with his country's hopes on his shoulders.
I think that most people have a perception of American players broken into intelligent, capable, genius types. You know, the Phil Ivies, whatever. Then the play every hand sick people, which some people incorrectly put me in that slot. I'm not that guy. And then there's the fish, which every country has its fish. So I think that probably most of these players think that I play too fast, when actually I can squeeze with the best of them. That's squeeze, you know, fold, fold, fold.
Phil Lark is chip leader at this early stage of the Poker Nations Cup. And it's actually the Scandinavian players.
Raises to 400.
Well, Vandenberg has been very, very quiet up to now. And this is the kind of hand he's been waiting for.
Cool.
Phil Lark calling behind with a smaller pair. What are they going to do on a ruggy flop?
I think Phil Lark recognises that Vandenberg is a pretty solid player.
He's looking to catch a set, isn't he, Vicky?
I think so. Catch a set or nick it. But what a move! What a move from Seidlin.
Bad. So he's playing the squeeze play. I mean, he knows that Lack hasn't got that much. But I don't think he's going to lose Vandenberg.
Well, this is an absolutely classic squeeze. A tight player raises, a loose player calls.
Yeah.
This is when the book says do it.
75.
But can Vandenberg let a pair of tens go?
Well, how much more is it for Vandenberg to call? Yeah.
Cool.
He's not sure where he is, but he's going to absolutely love it when he sees what the Danish player turns over.
23, another.
Yeah, again, a textbook squeeze, but he didn't have quite enough chips to force out the pair of tens. Vandenberg was a little bit stronger than Seidlin expected him to be.
Exactly, it was a strong enough hand to call, even though he wasn't sure where he was. And Seidlin really needs a bit of a miracle now to get out of this one.
Yeah, Danish captain Theo Jørgensen will be so worried about this situation, praying for 8s and 9s for straightening cards, but it's a wing and a prayer now for Denmark.
Even some of the straightening cards have gone, and that's absolutely no help to Seidlin.
No, short of 2 running 9s or 8s, we are going to lose our first country. That's it. Denmark cannot stay at this table, and it is just 1 point for the Danes tonight.
Well, nothing really went his way today. He lost that huge pot against Johnny Houston, got back into the game when he doubled up against Marmerstein, but he made a good play at a bad time, and he went out sticking his chips in. He shouldn't be too ashamed of that, Vicky.
It's obviously a setback that I only made 1 point, but I think you've got one of the best teams here, so I think still got a chance. I just tried to play my best game and do the right decisions. Today didn't work out, so.
So we are 5-handed. The next nation to leave this table will be taking 2 points with them. Not too many significant hands to speak of.
I fold, F-O-L-D, fold.
They've all passed around to Philip Marmestein, who is not only at the bottom of the chip ladder, but his country is at the bottom of the points ladder.
Well, he's found a pretty-looking hand to raise out of the small blind with, but Storicus has not got the hand that Marmestein wants to be taken on with.
Now, of course, if he raises, it will reveal the strength of his hand, because Storicus has really, he's played so few hands. He's been a real rock tonight, and Marmestein will certainly have noted that.
Yeah, he's been playing these big hands fairly slowly. When you've got position, you want to find out where you are.
Raise 1,100 more.
Yeah, I think this is correct play by Storicus, because now if he gets re-raised again, he's not going to like his ace-queen nearly as much. But
all in! What a play
Wow.
by Marmestein. He thinks that Storicus has put him on a steal. He thinks that the man's hand is not that strong. He knows he's tight. He thinks he can push him off it. Is he right?
Well, Storicus has asked the question, and now he looks very baffled by the answer he's been given. And it's a lot to do with the amount of chips he's already put into the pot. He's put in 1,600. He's got about 3,000 left.
Can you bring in 16?
Yeah, if Storicus makes the call, it's nearly all in. It's not completely, but it'll leave him very, very short chipped.
24, 25 more.
Only one of them can be satisfied. He's made the call.
Yes.
Well, this is tragedy for Germany. They picked up only 1 point in the first heat. Will it be only 2 points tonight, short of a 10 on the flop or running clubs? It will be.
You cannot fold anymore. Only ace-king is sick if he shows.
Captain Michael Kiner begging for tens, for clubs, for points.
King, queen, 5.
Queen each, but it's no good.
Both players, better kicker for Sweden. Turn card.
Diamond.
Now we got 4 clubs.
Well, a club draw now for Marmestein.
10 for a second pair or a club.
Just in case.
Let's see the river card.
Only a 10 or a club to
An
save
ace,
Germany.
aces and queens,
No.
decide for Sweden. Germany
And in
finishing
a
in fifth
horrible
place.
turn of events, Germany's strongest player goes out with only 2 points.
Yeah, well, he made a very powerful move. He wasn't to know quite what a big hand he was up against. And although he convinced Storicus that he might be behind, he felt pot committed. And he's come out, he's played good poker today, and he's very, very unfortunate, Vicky. And Germany, once again, just like last year, are going to have to fight their way back from the bottom.
I stand up and I don't blame myself for blundering. Yeah, I think I played well through the whole session. Only 2 out of 6 heats have been played, and I rely on my fellow team members to be better. They will be hard pressed to do worse. So of course we have a chance.
And so we are 4-handed. The next team to leave the table will collect 4 points for their trouble. And Sweden, who took second place in the first heat, will be in very healthy shape if they collect more good points tonight.
That's right. And of course, the Great Britain team, they're in good shape as well. And as it gets more short-handed, the more it's going to suit John Houston.
I'll call and re-raise.
But once again, he finds an ace-king behind him.
Here's 550. Put in 555.
Your terminology is a little confusing. You say I
want
call.
I want to call it and re-raise.
John Houston attempted to say the words I call and raise, but the tournament director Thomas Kremser is going to take that as a call.
Technically, you made a call now because I'm going to call.
Think so too.
And then you said and re-raise.
Yeah, I'm calling it better, but I'll re-raise it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you can't. Then you could never.
We all know what you mean.
Now you guys
but
might try me
technically,
for.
it's a call.
I mean, I know I'm in 3rd place here, and now you're gonna suck some chips out of me. I never get no. Just say raise next time. Let's see. Pull in.
And it's Phil Lark who's wondering whether he's been priced in. He's already on the big blind. He knows he's not winning, but he feels he's got fresh cards.
Yeah, he doesn't know that Vandenberg's playing rubbish as well.
13, wow.
Well, these kind of mistakes do tend to lead to nasty accidents, Vicky.
Okay, start laughing.
But he's got out of the way very sensibly. He didn't like to, but that was the right play. And Houston it is, as you say, who's shot the strength of his hand and absolutely missed, and Vandenberg hit a lovely top pair. Of course, Vandenberg doesn't know yet that he's in front with that, does he, Vicky?
Well, no, of course. If John Houston hadn't made that speech earlier, there would have been a definite follow-through bet from the Dutchman. But as it is,
Raise all.
he's announced all in. I love that. He's not worried at all about what was going on with Houston pre-flop.
Well, Houston came out betting, and Vandenberg raised all in, and Houston, the only thing he's got to think about now is whether or not he would be good if he hit an ace or a king.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is fantastic from Vandenberg.
Yeah.
He was faced with the speech, the attempted raise. You know, the man then bet the flop, and he just announced all in. It's as though he knows exactly the two cards he's up against.
Really, there's nothing he can do now, is there, Vicky, except throw this one away.
I don't think he can. He's nostalgic for the good old days before the flop.
Pass.
He is passing, but Vandenberg shows the hand. I think he thinks he's showing a bluff, but he isn't.
You had the best hand. But look, this is my hand before the flop. I'm trying to raise with.
Yeah, you're unlucky that you say it. I know what you mean, so I lay down if you re-raise, of course.
I think John Houston is going to need to regain his composure after that pot because everything went wrong. His raise didn't go through. He was faced with an all-in when he did bet. Now the man's shown him a 9 high.
Well, you don't rub down a 16-stone aggressive player like John Houston without there being some retribution at some point, Vicky.
I play poker now 3.5 years, something like that, and yeah, I had online a lot of good results. Some players do well in cash games or well in tournaments, so I do well in tournaments, so they invited me for this because I had good results the last 3-4 months, so they invited me, so I'm happy that they asked me for it.
The worst is this.
Welcome back to the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. John Houston of Great Britain is at the bottom of the chip ladder, but of course Britain have got 16 points in the bag from the first heat, so there's not too much pressure.
Houston finding the perfect hand. If they think you're steaming, this is the kind of... Oh, who's just limping? He's doing everything to disguise it. And this is the perfect situation for Houston. Black behind him with ace-king. Houston could be due for a double up here, Vicky.
Yeah. In a way, if Houston had raised, he still would have got a re-raise from Lark. He didn't know it, and as it is, a lot of chips will be going into the middle now.
So I'll just put my bet in first, okay, the 950.
Yeah,
okay?
now you
are declared. Okay, yeah.
Now we know you're going to raise.
So there's we've got 50 cents. I'll re-raise it. 17.
Okay. 17 more.
So
Don't think king. Just think fold. Just think fold.
1,000.
He said he was going to raise.
Oh, 17,
yeah.
exactly right. Oh, I got you. Limp re-raise. That's usually aces or kings.
You see, Phil Lark exactly has picked up on the strength of his opponent's hand, but will he go with his gut instinct? Can he do it? Can he let the ace-king go?
It's not easy against a player like John Houston.
I mean, that is very classy from Phil Lark. He's just said it. Limp re-raise, you've got aces or kings. That perspicacity will delight his captain. Such a tough decision. Can he do it? No, he can't. No, he can't. The chips are all in. Of course, it's an easy and immediate call from Houston.
Great Britain is all in.
Well, hats off to Phil Lark for smelling the danger, but really with the amount of chips that are in there, very, very hard to fold four-handed with ace-king.
It is Great Britain who is all in. Phil Lark cannot be knocked out of this pot, but he will suffer a body blow.
Sorry, team.
Very, very tough.
9, 10, 5, aces in front.
Running Jack Queen would give the pot to Phil Lark. Or, of course, 2 kings.
6.
But no, that's it. He's drawing dead.
The river card.
And it is a double up for Great Britain.
3.
Relief for
Great
John
Britain
Houston
doubles up.
and for his captain, Dave Devilfish Elliott.
We can play them aces.
That's a very, very big pot for Houston, who has about 10,000 chips now, and the chip lead.
You cannot fold.
My greatest poker achievements. I think winning the U2001 Classic at the Vic in London was probably my first, because that was my biggest win. Cashing in 2 World Series events this year was good. Also finishing runner-up in the World Open on TV was good. But anything with the paycheck's good.
3 European nations with near on 9,000 in chips, and the United States with just 2,500.
Plenty enough for Phil Lack.
To 2,100.
Yeah, he's committing himself again with the ace once again. This time he's got more of a hand. Oh, but Storicus has got the perfect hand to take him on with. Is he just going to call, or is he going to protect it?
Call. Re-raises all in.
I'm all in.
Storakis calls, but behind him, Vandenberg moves all in.
This is a horrible, horrible situation for Lark. And it's not a very comfortable situation for Storicus either. But Storicus got away from that one. What a great pass by Storicus.
Yeah, I think Storakis knows that with Phil Lark basically all in, Vandenberg is not going to do this without a huge hand. That's the least he's likely to have his ace-king, and Phil Lark is looking for 3 9s in the deck to save himself and America.
Let's see the flop.
Well, he only needs one of them, but with that king coming down, it's very, very thin draw now for Phil Lark, who needs running cards.
Either 2 9s or 10 jack. No, there's no card now that will help Phil Lack. And having played a great game and been so entertaining at the table, he leaves with the gift of just 4 points for his team captain, Robert Williamson.
Good show, Phil. They cheated.
Well, he's a great player, he's an entertaining player. He came here trying to win. One very, very unfortunate situation he got into against John Houston with the ace-king. Cost him the game, but he went down fighting right to the end.
Okay, so there was a significant hand, obviously. Had ace-king. Johnny limp for 200, I raised, and he re-raised, and I just went over all the times. You never see a guy limp re-raise without aces, and I think it's a counterintuitive play, but it's actually easy to do. It's easy to fold. It's an easy fold because I'm beat or I'm tied to ace. He's not doing that with ace-jack or what. I played poorly, and I was punished, and that's the way poker is sometimes. That's a pretty trivial laydown, even though it doesn't look trivial, and I jerried it. So that's that. Poker 101, I failed. Move on. You know, what can I do? I don't know.
And that leaves us with just 3 players left, 3 countries represented, 7 points to the next team who goes out, 11 points for second place, and the big 16 for first.
Raising with a pair.
Re-raise.
Well, Houston knows that with only 3 players at the table, an 8 is a good strong card, and it's nice to see him raising with it.
Another 3,000.
Yes, but I think he might get action this time, Vicky.
Storakis is not going to get in the middle of this with 10 high.
Vandenberg asking for a count.
Well, Vandenberg is big chip leader.
Well, Storicus has been sitting back waiting for these two to clash. May well get his wish now, Vicky, and might pass his way into second place, because Vandenberg's seriously considering taking a stand with these 2 5s.
Lay down aces for time confused me a little bit.
I mean, he doesn't want to easily relinquish his preeminent chip position.
I'm all in.
Re-raises all
He's
in.
moved all in. Houston is really facing a decision here. He can pass and still have 5,000 chips. He knows he must be in bad shape against whatever Vandenberg has got, and if it's an ace, well, he's nearly dead.
Good bit.
And you've got to say that's a good pass, by the way. He's got to stop showing those aces when he throws them away.
There is not that much of a gap in chips between Vandenberg and Houston. Neither one of them could survive an all-in loss without serious damage. Johan Storakis of Sweden is hanging back, not getting too involved, maybe hoping for the 11 points which come with second place.
Historica's playing far the most cautious game of the three of them. He knows he's got every chance of getting into second place by letting these two clash. But he has to get involved from time to time. And
what a quick exchange. Raise, says Vandenberg. Re-raise, all in, says Houston. Call, says Vandenberg. And now it is Great Britain whose life is on the line in this heat.
What comes? Queen.
Well, there's the Queen.
8. We have Queen.
To the delight of the British team in the green room, Houston has gone in front.
It's a tray.
Only an ace now would knock him out.
Well, John Houston rewarded for a strong play there. And this is very bad news for Storicus as well as for Vandenberg, because Storicus knows he's now the one who's in the firing line, and this strategy of trying to pass his way into second place not working out. He may have to start pushing.
Okay, John is making the right moves at the right time, you know, and that's what this game's all about. It's all about timing, you know. And you know, he caught the aces perfectly in the ace king, which was great, you know. And now, you know, I mean, I said to him, if he can finish third or better, it's great. And he's already in third, so you know, it's a free roll. So let's hope he climbs the ladder a little bit, gets second or first.
King 7. Possible.
Storicus is in the big blind. He's got only 2,600 behind. He doesn't want to pass.
Okay, now Storicus, there's a lot of hands he should defend with now, and well, that certainly is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Barney, he's got himself in this pickle. He should have raised much earlier when his chips were bigger.
As it happens, a great opportunity. Well, Storicus is giving himself no shot in this tournament, Vicky.
Yeah, poker is a game of skill, but sometimes you have to put yourself in situations where you can get lucky, and it's like Storicus is dodging every opportunity.
You have to play a certain way to survive in a game like this. I mean, if you play conservative and you move over the top once or twice, it's really hard to find when you're bluffing. So I will just keep steady, and hopefully I will pick up some real good hands.
Well, look at this now, just 2,600 for Storicus. 200 of them are in on the small blind.
Well, you didn't want to take a shot. That's quite surprising.
And traditionally, well, maybe this is a hand.
Yeah, now he's doing the same thing he did. He had a pair of queens early on in the same situation, and he didn't take advantage. Well, of course, Storicus is going to check now, and he's got his bet.
Well, what we're seeing is a man being rewarded for waiting a very long time.
Well, there is a four flush out there, Vicky.
Pocket kings.
But he probably waited a little bit too long. Vandenberg can still hit a spade to knock him out of the tournament.
Let's see the turn. Jack of diamonds.
More out.
The jack or nine of spades, of course, would give Storicus a full house.
And the 6 of
but no,
clubs.
he doubles up. And you may say that his patience was rewarded, but he couldn't know the kings were coming then.
No, and really, he's been given a second chance, and I think he has to play a lot more aggressively now.
Johan Storicus of Sweden finds himself on the button with less than 10 big blinds. Perilous times.
Pass.
Vandenberg.
Raised to 23.
He may well induce a re-raise from Houston. Who's, yeah, oh my God, yes.
Oh my goodness, all in, declares John Houston with 2 overcards suited. I feel sure that Vandenberg is going to call this bet and will be racing. John Houston for Great Britain is all in. Vandenberg for Holland has got 1,200 chips left. And the race is on.
What a great situation either way for Storicus. Oh,
Six,
a big
three,
flop for Houston.
four with 2 clubs.
Flush draw, 2 overcards. Houston could double up, but with blanks, he's out.
Not a red card.
That's one blank.
Let's see the river. 5 of clubs.
Oh.
The flush comes in. Massive double up for John Houston, representing the defending champion team, Great Britain.
I have to call.
I know.
Every time we kept, I have to come
I
down.
hit
2
you
picture cards.
I know, but I hit you almost now.
Yeah, well.
You're lucky 2 times.
Fantastic, though. This is good. This is good for the game. Good for the television.
If you're lucky, it's good for television.
The format of the tournament kind of suits my play really, because the longer it goes, it can become more aggressive towards the end, which is what I like. The all-in move.
On the button with 1,200 in chips, Vandenberg really has to stick it in for value with almost any 2. I feel sure that's something that he understands.
All in.
Well, he's all in, and he's found, to his relief, an ace.
1,200.
And chances are they'll both call. It's only 900 more to John Houston and 600 more to Johan Storkers.
That's right. Vandenberg's hand stands up,
Nine's cool.
then he'll be in a very similar chip position to Storkers.
Yeah, tactically, thinking of the points available for the team, they should really both call and check it down. It seems unsporting, but this is all about gathering points for your team. Is the right way to play it.
That's right. As long as they don't discuss it, there's nothing wrong. It's standard tournament strategy, and in this team situation, all the more important that they check it out.
Vandenberg has got some bullets to dodge. No 6, no 4, no 9. He's dodged them so far.
Check.
Could be the treble up for the Dutchman.
Well,
oh,
check.
There is a 9, a pair for Johan Storkers of Sweden, and if an ace or a jack does not come down, it hasn't.
Check.
2 pair for Storkers, and Vandenberg of Holland is very unluckily out in 3rd place, collecting 7 points.
he played a very tricky, aggressive game right throughout this tournament. Some great moves. He had.
Welcome back to the second heat of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. And we are heads up. Great Britain and Sweden, exactly the 2 teams that were heads up in the first heat, are alone again. John Houston just calling. Annoyingly for him, it's this time that Storkers raises.
Call.
And I'm not sure what that call is about, but maybe he thinks that as the more aggressive player, he can take it off the Swede after cards.
Yeah, well, position is all he has in this pot, and that's a very nice plot for Storkers, although Houston does have that heart.
Well, this is interesting. Checking back for hearts.
Checking.
All in. Now, I think this might get called. Top pair for Storkers. He is calling. If a heart comes down, the tournament is over. If it doesn't, a huge comeback for Sweden.
Well, Houston, if a heart doesn't come down, he's going to be asking himself why he played it the way he did before the flop. But it's a good, strong play on the flop, and he's got every chance of finishing this here and now.
Captain Dave Elliott mentioned the luck of John Houston in 1 tables. A 9 would give him a straight. A heart would give him a flush. But no, 3 queens doubles up Johan Storkers of Sweden.
Now we've really got the game, Vicky. Storkers with the most chips he's had in this whole tournament. Houston still with a decent lead, but there's everything to play for and very little in it now.
John Houston with the chip lead, but that gap getting smaller and smaller, and if Houston doesn't start raising with the chip lead, he'll miss the opportunity. He will no longer be the big stack.
Well, he's just limped on the button with the same hand we saw Storkers raise with just now, and he's allowed Storkers in to hit a huge flop.
Well,
Oh, and this is exactly the card to get Houston into trouble. Storicus checking it one more time. Now Storicus, you think, would have to raise here to try and make the pot big, Vicky?
Well, I don't know whether he oughtn't to just call and hope that Houston will put him on a draw and bet again if a blank comes down. Unfortunately, you couldn't have less of a blank than the 2 of hearts. I fancy Houston will just turn his hand over.
I think you're right, Vicky. The way we've seen him play so far. And, dodged a bit of a bullet there because a raise from Storicus on the turn could have made that pot a lot bigger.
Yeah, that's right. Houston cleverly worked out what hand is Storicus meant to have that he will call with that isn't now winning. The flush has come, the straight has come, there's a pair on board. This is not a man who's likely to call with ace high or a pair of sixes.
Basically, I'm going for the win. I mean, there's only one prize. But if we're going up to 400, 800 or something, then it will be kind of a quick battle where you have to find out who is bluffing the most, and maybe then you even call down with like King 10 or something.
Johan Storicus, now the chip leader. Absolutely impossible to predict.
Well, Houston choosing once again to limp on the button with an ace. It's a biggish suited ace as well. How many times is he going to... Well, it's paid off for him this time.
There could be action. A 6 would give Storicus a straight. He's betting that furtive draw.
Well, Storicus on a 3/4 bluff here. And Houston wondering, would Storicus bet out with a 7? He certainly didn't bet out with a 5 when he hit 3 5s. I think Houston knows it's very unlikely he's behind here. But disguising his hand.
If it comes a 6, then Houston's going to feel silly. But the full house kills Storicus' draw.
Check.
Kills the action in his hand as well, I would think. You know what? It might even get checked out, but...
Amazing. Storicus has made his straight, but he's surely going to sense the danger.
Well, Storicus, this has come the only card that could cost him, really. But would Houston... No, he's far too good. It's even come a flush on the river as well. He's only making a very, very strange bluff indeed.
Yeah, Houston's unlucky there because the card has come which gave Storicus a hand, but... with the board already paired and the flush coming as well, the Swede was good enough to let it go with very little thought.
Cool.
Check.
So again, Houston limping on the button. Storicus happy to take a flop. And that's a cruel for Storicus, because when Houston bets this, Storicus won't be passing on the flop, I'm sure.
Call.
All it needs is a 4 now.
Well, the danger for Storicus is that there are a lot of draws on the flop.
That's right, Storicus now wants to find out where he is with his 10. Houston going nowhere with top pair. This pot's getting big. Surely now Storicus checks it. Houston may check it as well. You've seen him, yeah.
Check. Pair of kings.
Yeah, I push it. Again, if I push, you pass anyway.
Yeah.
The way you play. I know that I can't, I can only just keep calling.
Well, the chip pendulum swings back in the direction of Great Britain.
That's 22.
We're within an ace of seeing an end to this. Once again, just limping.
I think Houston might want to step up the pressure now because Storicus has only got 4,500 chips in front of him. But he's been allowed in to hit a nice draw.
Bet 1,700. Raises all.
Oh, and with 2 pair, I think Houston is going to give him a spin.
I think so too, Vicky. Yes, that's right. And this could be the hand. Storicus with a straight draw. Houston with 2 pair.
Can I get those cards, please? Thank you.
Yes. If
We got
a
Sweden all in.
5 or a 10 comes down, Starakis will make a straight and double up. If it doesn't, we have a decision.
Great Britain in the lead.
And Houston holding one of those 10s in his hand.
It's a king.
That's a blank.
Sweden.
Only a 5 or a 10 can save Starakis.
It's a trade.
That's it.
Starakis hung on and hung on, fought back into the game, but gave it up at the last. And it is another outright win for the defending champions, Great Britain.
Well, John Houston came in as the relatively unknown player in the Great Britain team, but he has done his team proud and banked another win, which puts Great Britain way in the lead in this Poker Nations Cup.
In the end, I think maybe I played a little bit too passive. I thought he was most likely to make a mistake, and so I wanted to keep the pots real small. And then when he bet out in the end, I figured that he might have a 6 and I could get him off that hand.
People who understand poker will realise I was changing my gears in the game an awful lot to confuse my opponents, and that was my aim and strategy in the game. And I did do that. So the game went according to my plan, really. So I felt all night that I was hitting cards, and you know, you get that feeling that you locks in and you roll it and play it.
So another fantastic night for the defending champions Great Britain. Not so good for unlucky Denmark. Looking at the total leaderboard, GB are right at the top with a maximum of 32 points. Sweden doing very well with 22. Holland and Denmark in the middle. America a disappointing 6, and Germany in big trouble with only 3. Maybe they'll be luckier next time. Good night.
Stay with 4 showdowns in the ring from 3 different decades next. Classic stuff from KOTV.